welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. So the days are slipping by. We're nearing the end of the year, but we're still in 2025. So our theme for this year is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. For the month of December, we're exploring the theme Shedding Our Skin. And listen to the title of our talk today. It is From Crackly to Supple. Are you intrigued? You should be. And our speaker will be our wonderful guest speaker, Reverend Melinda. So she's going to take us all through exploring from crackly to supple. We are so glad that you took some time out of your day to join us. We invite you to share any prayer concerns or celebrations in our chat. And when we get to our prayer portion of our service, which we call Spiritual Mind Treatment, Reverend Melinda will be sure to include your celebrations and concerns in our affirmative prayer. All right, that's all I have to say to kick things off. Sit back, take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy our welcoming video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. All right, before we go into our meditation, for those of you who are regulars at CSL Leesburg, then you know Reverend Melinda. If you're new to us, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and she assists people in healing and moving beyond past trauma. So talk about shedding our skin and moving from crackly to supple. We have an expert with us today. She helps people to move on a transformative journey through compassion and expertise. And I have to throw in a little something extra. I was telling Reverend Melinda how much I enjoy listening to her on Insight Timer. So today I'm thrilled because I get to have it live and I can look at her face as she guides us through our meditation. So thank you so much, Reverend Melinda. Let's begin our meditation.
Thank you, Tamara. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, beloveds. Tamara and I were saying that's how we start my meditations. So let's drop in. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. Knowing that meditation can be eyes open. It can be a walking meditation. It can be finding something to focus and soften your eyes on that's in your view. The whole point of this practice is to be still, to learn to calm the mind, and to connect with that greater presence that is within us as Spirit, as God, as Source. So take a deep breath with me. And as you exhale, allow the tension to just sigh out of the body. Another deep breath in. Letting all the day and the past go. Allowing yourself to just arrive into this moment exactly as you are. Maybe you're a little rough around the edges, feeling a little dry and crackly. Spirit's invitation for us today is to step into the pool of the sacred, of the holy, and just allow yourself to be washed and bathed. So maybe you imagine yourself somewhere in nature, in a warm pool of water. Maybe you find yourself just bobbing along the ocean. Feeling that perfect temperature of water just washing your body. Recognizing Spirit is right there with you. It is the water. It is the air that you breathe. It moves through every cell of your body. It lives in the space between each and every particle of your being. Closer than your own breath. Just feel and connect with this presence and allow it to wash your heart. Wash through any difficult feelings that are present in this moment. Knowing the power of this presence to heal all things. Just floating in this beautiful pool of presence. Breathing it in. And imagining yourself stepping out of the water now, finding some new clothes to put on that Spirit has provided for you. Notice how you feel as you adorn this new energy. Stepping fresh into the world, fresh into your day, washed anew. Taking another deep breath in, letting go of the meditation, and when you're ready, you can softly blink open your eyes.
Shedding our skin so we can grow again. Shedding our skin so we can grow again. First we breathe out, then we breathe in. This is all that we are, will be and have been. Shedding our skin so we can grow again. Shedding our skin so we can grow again. At the day's break, learning to bend, and all that's been torn also may mend. Shedding our skin, so we can grow again, Shedding our skin, so we can grow again, when it's time to let go. Let the day end. We're open once more to what may begin.
I don't even want to talk. Thank you, Leah. I'm always just moved to speechlessness, which is such an unusual state of being for me. uh, good morning, beloveds. My name's Reverend Melinda, and it's always my joy, my honor, and excitement to be with you, this beautiful beloved community, and this funky title from from crackly to supple. I have something I'm going to do in a little bit, a very personal reveal about this topic, about letting go. But let's dive into our reading. So Ernest Holmes says this, and I had to look it up, and from Science of Mind, and it's in the chapter, What the Mystics Have Taught. How perfect is that? While there is liberty in the evolving principle, it is always in accord with certain fundamental laws of necessity. It seems as though behind evolution there is an irresistible pressure compelling more, better, higher, and greater things. For instance, if we study the evolution of locomotion, from the rising of people from the clod, we see them riding upon a horse, in a cart, in a wagon, and so on to the automobile and the airplane. What is this but the evolution of locomotion? The unfolding through people's minds of the possibility of travel. If we watch the evolution of travel by water, we find the same thing from the raft to modern ships. What is the inevitable end of locomotion? Could it be other than that we shall ultimately do away with every visible means of transportation when we shall have unified with omnipresence? We shall be omnipresent. When we shall have arrived at sufficient understanding, our thought will take us where we wish to be. I want to read that one again. When we shall have arrived at sufficient understanding, our thought will take us where we wish to be. When we know enough, we shall be able to pass on to another plane and come back again, if we wish to do so. When we know enough to multiply the loaves and fishes, we shall do so. When we know enough to walk on the water, we shall be able to do that, and it will be in accordance with the natural law in the spiritual world. It took me years to read Ernest in a way where I could just instantly understand it, and still I have to slow it down, and I have to take it piece by piece by piece. But what he's saying is that there's freedom in this idea of evolution. There's freedom in knowing that. And Spirit has so much that it wants to say today. So I'm going to try to slow down all the information that Spirit wants to share with you. I speak with people who get very time scared. Oh, I'm running out of time. I'm aging. Oh no, I've got to get stuff done. I got to get to this next level. I need to, heal this and move on. Like, it's this really intense fear of lack of time. There is an evolving principle that we live in, that our souls are just naturally doing that evolution. It's just what's happening, right? And it will be in accord with a certain fundamental laws of necessity. Do we need to walk on water yet? I mean, I haven't seen that. Maybe. But our evolution is often brought by necessity. So there's this natural pull, this natural desire within us to grow, to expand, that is beyond our conscious thinking, beyond our little ego mind. There's something in us that knows this just natural expansion. So this idea of crackly to supple, the idea of shedding skin, I think that we get crackly, we get rigid when we forget these natural principles, that there is this evolving principle and that it's in accordance with the laws of necessity. Our circumstances, our daily lives, what's happening out in the world is part of the pressure that's pulling us forward, individually and collectively. So there's the necessity, right? Such intense division that we can see, the idea that there's all this misinformation out in the world. What do we know? How do we know what to trust? Our meditation today brought us back to connecting deeply and basking in and soaking in that divine presence. That's right here. It's in between the particles. And when we look on a quantum physics level of particle to space, the comparison has been that it's a grain of sand at one end of a football field and another grain of sand at the other end of that football field, and all between is that space. We're more space than particle, right? That space is filled by the presence. And when we're intentional to bring our attention back to the presence and connect with that, we can just relax into it. We can soften into it. And just that alone can begin to smooth away some of the roughness, right? So evolution is just this, it's what's happening, whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not. I know I've used this example before, but it's so perfect. There was no efforting for us to get from childhood to through puberty into our teenage years, right? We didn't effort our bodies to change and get all weird and pimply and grow awkwardly and smell odd. There was no conscious effort in that. It just happens. Now, sure, there's some discomfort. Yes, growth is uncomfortable. That is certain. And when we can move through the transitions and through the growth periods with that connection to that which is right here with us, moving through us, that we are a part of, then it can make the transitions a little smoother. And I don't know that I've ever seen a time when we need to relax more, where we need to trust more, where we need to remember more of what we are, who we are, and who is with us. That presence, that divine presence that's with us, right? So there's a couple points that I want to touch on, and this idea of evolution, we can watch it in nature. We can watch a simple life cycle from the growth of a grapevine, right? It grows and then it produces fruit, and we can literally watch the entire cycle of that fruit that's being produced come to its fullest expression and then begin to recede and wither and die. Take a breath. We get so scared about that last part. But what happens in nature is there's more expansion, more fruit is produced, and it goes through its life cycle. And so we know energy cannot be destroyed. It changes. The energy of the grape itself never goes away. It comes into expression and then it goes back. And it comes into expression and then it goes back, right? We're not very different than that. And so just recognizing that there is this cycle of growth and expansion and breaking free and coming to our fullest expression and then going back. A CSL minister by the name of Cynthia James has been my mentor for years, and I have watched this woman continue to create and produce, and I honestly, I don't know how old she is. I'm pretty certain she's beyond her 70s. I don't know how close to the age she is. I've never asked. It just didn't seem appropriate. And I'm going to interview her on my podcast, The Alchemy Transmission. And what I want to talk with her about is what continues to keep her doing this and this and this and this, because I've never seen her do this. I have never seen her recede. I have never seen her give in to this idea that there is this cycle of collapse in the life because I'm older, because, this is what happens. It's so fascinating to me. I live in this senior community now, 55 plus. That's weird. I'm still 20s, right? And I can feel the energy wanting to pull me back and down. I can feel it. And so I feel myself every day continuing to fight for this. And so there is a natural cycle. But I'm wondering if we step into it too soon. I wonder if we allow ourselves to feel what other people are doing and have it influence us in such a way where we dim ourselves and dim our lights decades sooner. When I look at Cynthia James, she's a few decades older than me. And at times I just have thought recently, I'm like, oh, I'm coming to the end. I'm just like, wait, what? I have decades within me still. You can see my guides are just like, yeah, you do. You better get on that. And so what is it that you're clinging to as far as your own cycle of expansion and retraction, of expression and coming into quiet? Now, that's not to say that we're going to have our natural ins and outs throughout the lifetime as we continue this beautiful arc of expression, but just know this. Spirit chose you to express through you. And so who are you to say that Spirit's done expressing? Just a thought. Leah so beautifully spoke about letting things go, letting things fall away, letting things die to make room for the new. And we completely have this resistance to letting go of the familiar and the comfortable. It's something that there's a lot of resistance around, and yet that's how evolution works. Is we have to recognize what no longer serves us. We have to recognize what is knocking on our heart's door that wants to come through, individually, collectively, right? What are you clinging to that might have been asking for you to fall away? It's been wanting to fall away. I've been watching myself in some interesting relationship patterns. And I've been watching how I cling to something that doesn't serve me, that really doesn't bring joy to my heart. And yet I'm like, no, I don't want you to go away. But it should. And when I relax and trust and remember that Spirit is doing one thing for me, it's bringing good into my life. And so we might have to get out that spiritual loofah, we might have to get out that spiritual pumice stone, and we might have to scrape away the scales so that we can be new again. embracing that cycle of coming and going, expansion and retraction, I think is a very courageous, it's a courageous act. And I know in the Buddhist tradition, there is this practice of non-attachment. When we let go of attachment to anything and just be present to what is and allow it to ebb and flow and come and go, how much more ease do we have knowing that there's something greater, grander, bigger, more expansive on its way? The last point of our talk today is what lies dormant underneath. I do trauma work. Work with people in 46 countries all around the world, and the one thing that all those people have is trauma. That's the one commonality, is that everybody has had a life, has had difficult experiences, and those difficult experiences can leave some interesting remnants behind. Some scaly, scratchy things. And one of the scaly, scratchy things that I just recently had to let go of, that I had to face, that I had to embrace, was greed. Money does some interesting things to us, doesn't it? Just about a year ago, my mom passed away. And there was a chunk of money, and it was always agreed upon that it would be divided evenly between me and my brothers, my other two brothers. And I was my mother's caregiver, and so everything was in my name. And so I'd had this nice little chunk of money sitting in an account, knowing it wasn't just mine, that it was to be shared. So I asked my brothers initially, is this something you need? And they're like, no, we're fine. Like, okay. They said, just, figure out the accounting, no hurry. And I got into a lot of lack and a lot of scarcity and a lot of fear. I used my portion to buy this beautiful home, and there was some repairs, and so I used a little more. And I didn't tell my brothers. And what was lying underneath the surface for me, what was lying dormant, was shame. And my oldest brother has a challenged life, some challenged health issues, and he was talking a few weeks ago, and it was obvious he could use some money. And so I said, well, I have some money for you. And he's like, well, how much? And I gave him a fraction. And his comment, I said a fraction, his comment was like, that's it. And I'm like, oh, I'm busted. I'm like, oh no. Because seeing that number in my account was a little bit of a safety blanket for me. It was like, it was providing some comfort, even though it wasn't mine, but it was in my name. And I watched myself stress and freak out for months about having to come clean, having to be honest. And so in that moment, I'm just like, okay. So I sat down and I did the scary thing, and I got really uncomfortable, and I scraped off that scratchy, scaly stuff called greed and shame, and I did the accounting, and I gave it to my brother, and I said, here's the actual number, and here's why I didn't give it to you before, and I apologize. I was not transparent, and I'm so sorry. And I was just waiting for the judgment, waiting for the shame, and what came was, thank you. I appreciate your honesty. I did not expect that. And he said, well, we should share this with our other brother. And I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for that. So there's the greed. It just showed right back up. It didn't go away. And he's like, no, we all need to be on the same page. So I took this big, huge leap to let it all go. I'm like, it's not even my money anyways. It's just this false sense of security that I'm holding on to, terrified to let go of. All the while, I'm working on abundance. Every day, I'm doing Dr. Joe meditations on abundance. Well, beloveds, you cannot be abundant and greedy at the same time. Like, that just doesn't work. So again, lots and lots and lots of tears, letting go, shedding all that shame. And I sent it to both brothers, and I'm like, here's the amounts. You have this, you have this. I owe you both this. So I just came clean. And I said, and 7 years of taking care of our mom really had a big impact on my business. And so if you would consider, a gift for the impact, not for taking care of her, but for the impact it had on my business, that would be appreciated. But I really was in that place of just letting it all go and paying them back for the portion of theirs that I borrowed against. And what came to me in less than 10 hours of that huge leap of faith, that shedding of the shame, of the fear, of the lack, of the terror, what came back was $74,000. As soon as I let it go, expansion happened, and in a big way. I was not expecting that. That's not why I did it. I let it go because it didn't serve me anymore. To hold on to what was not mine, to hold on to fear and lack and greed that took me out of alignment with my values. This idea of going from crackly to supple is a brave journey. And Spirit is right here with you. Every step of the way. It is what fills all the spaces between your beautiful particles. There's more Spirit here than physical you. And you're part of it. You're no different. I heard this beautiful phrase, and maybe I've shared this recently, but it just so impacted me. And I wrote it down, and I look at it every day, and I really contemplate this phrase. I am that to which I pray. Science of Mind teaches unity. It says that we are that. We are that divine presence. We are that scoop of water out of the ocean. We're not the totality of it, but we are a part of it, and we hold it within us, and we have access to us all the wisdom, all the power of creation, of love, of healing, of abundance. Gotta let go of the greed, by the way. It's all right here. I am that to which I pray. And so whatever this is, beloved, that you're holding on to, whatever it is that you're clinging on to that's making you scaly and crinkly and crackly, I invite you to practice the meditation that we started with today. Bathe in the presence. Allow it to wash you. And wash those places within you that are holding fear, panic, lack, terror, illness, discord, hurt, shame, whatever those are for you. Invite it in to do its magic, because all it's doing is sitting right here with you, closer than your breath, waiting for you to ask. So let's just drop in. Let's drop into that beautiful space of affirmative prayer. Oh, great Spirit, thank you for this time. Thank you for the courage for each and every one of us to show up in our daily lives. Thank you for all the wisdom and all the tools to be present to the transformation that is sitting in front of us. Our souls are calling us to evolve. We feel it, we know it, we see it, and yet we resist it. And so thank you, Divine Presence, for the map, for the way, for the hand-holding, for the carrying us through the challenges, for the reminders of the deeper truth of who we are. For I know that there is only you. There is only this one presence. There is only this divine presence that I am a part of, and knowing there is never been, never will be, never could be any separation from it. So thank you, divine presence, which is moving here through me, through each and every one of these beloved beings that are listening to this, that are present to this in this moment. I know for each and every one of us that we are that spark, that light, that evolution, that within us is that supple spirit, that the crackliness of who we are can just be released, as simple as the exhale, as simple as the apology. I'm so sorry. As beautiful as the gifts rushing in when we make space for it. Thank you, Spirit. I know for each and every person that is present here in this moment, that good is happening in this moment, in every moment for them, for their body, for their heart, for their mind, for their finances, for their relationships. I know that inspiration is right there with each and every one of them. I know that there is a direct line of communication, and that any obstacle that is in the way of that can be dissolved in a moment, in that beautiful ask. And so I just sit in this moment, in this peace, in this knowing. I sit here in the peace, at peace, in the love, in love. Knowing this one life, one mind, one heart, one divine presence is right here in each and every one of us. In the midst of all the conflict and all the challenge is love, is healing, is one. And I am so grateful. And I allow this to be, I let it go, knowing the universe has already said yes. And we just affirm by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
I'm holding my head high, head high, head high. I'm holding my head high, 'cause I know who I am. I am a radiant beam of light. I am a star that's burning bright. I am the moon that pulls the tide. Even when the way's not clear, I'll be alright, 'cause I'm holding my head high, head high, head high. I'm holding my head high, 'cause I know who I am. I am a beacon in the world. I am a promise that unfurls. Open the oyster, find the pearl. Look up at the Milky Way, you'll see this girl. 'Cause I'm holding my head high, head high, head high. I'm holding my head high, 'cause I know who I am. I show up and I take my chance. I ain't no victim of your circumstance. I got a heap and help enough confidence. If you know who I am, well, it just makes sense. 'Cause I'm holding my, I'm holding my, I'm holding my, I'm holding my. Let me tell you that I'm holding my head high, head high, head high. I'm holding my head high, 'cause I know who I am, who I am. I'm holding my head high, my head high, my head high. Be holding my head high, 'cause I know who I am.
Oh, no, it didn't just stop. There's no way. Don't you need another verse or two? Oh my gosh, that was absolutely amazing. She hits it right out of the park. And Reverend Charlene, I'm going to throw in a little note. If you look at what the title of our talk for next week is, talking about being sublime and having your best self, I think we just replay that song. I'm throwing it out there. Yes, yes. And Reverend Melinda, oh my goodness. Thank you. You'll talk sometimes before our service about how your spirit guides come to you and give you the words to share. And I put a little note in the chat for those of you who haven't looked at it. Thank you for being authentic, brave to share a very personal experience, and you just touched all of our hearts. I know that. So thank you. Thank you so much. All right, folks. I've been fed spiritually. My spiritual battery is now at 100%. And it's all because I joined you today and I listened to the words in the meditation and I sang along with Leah and I just soaked in. Talk about that water reference. I soaked in the words that Reverend Melinda gave us and I took that loofah. I love that metaphor. This is what we do when we come together. And we do all of this because of you. You make it happen. We are a community. And we want to thank you so much for your donations. We're getting near the end of the year, and sometimes people are looking, what more can I do? What more can I do to make sure my taxes are going to be good when I sit down to do them in April? One place is making a donation. And we thank you so much for what you do, for how you give on a regular basis, because you keep us coming to you. You keep us able to provide the service on Sunday, the classes, the workshops, and we are so grateful. And just in case you haven't found a way to give, take a look at the screen. It's so easy to do, and there's a way that works for everyone because that's part of our mission, right? Helping to create a world that works for everyone, helping to make your donations easy to do, finding a way that works for everyone. So now let's go into the blessing of our gifts, a reminder of how we are so blessed. Please join me. Here we go. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. I'm going to throw in that quote from Reverend Melinda. I am that to which I pray. Man, I know what's going up on my little board in my office. That is fabulous. All right, folks, what announcements do we have? I know that there will be a special service on the last Sunday of the year. We always do our burning bowl ceremony, so stay tuned for that. Do we have anything else coming up? Let's see. There it is. We have our holiday service. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing that we're at that time of year. It slips by very quickly, doesn't it? And like I said, we'll have our way to create your vision for 2026. Also, if you haven't received it yet, look for that email invite to the new community outreach group. And we're just wrapping up 2025.
Yeah, so it's like the next 3 weeks are these things.
Busy, busy,
Holiday,
busy,
yeah,
busy.
holidays next week, right?
Yeah, it's
20,
like the
21st?
21st.
And then the
Because
next week, New Year, New You.
Yeah. It's
And then vision boards.
28th.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see everybody's January 4th, and we're well into 4
Which
days
is
into
Mafi's
the new year.
Mafi's birthday, January 4th. What?
Yay! Nice.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I just want to pop in just to say, I'll stop sharing real quick because we're going to go into our final thing. But yeah, so next Sunday, a little bit of a lighting, get a candle ready. Following Sunday, we're going to do our burning bowl because why not? And then when we see you on Mafi's birthday, we'll do a vision board. But this time it's going to be a movie. You don't want to miss it. I've made it easy. No Canva. No, it's AI all the way, baby. So meet me, January 4th. More information
Nice.
coming soon. Okay. Back to you,
Nice.
Tamara. Back to you, my dearest
Fabulous.
practitioner.
Thank you, Reverend Charlene. Love
All right,
it.
hold on. Let me.
Truly is a community effort what we put together. All right, folks, before we send you off, I'm going to have to step out early because I have afternoon plans. But if you can, please stay, hang out. I know Reverend Melinda. She heard from me. That's why I threw that in. I know she wants to hear from you too. So give her some feedback, share anything that moved you. I shared that one quote that's going up on my wall, but what really resonated with your spirit from the meditation, from the music, from the message? Hang out with us. This is our virtual coffee hour, and we call this Pearls. What was the little gem that you got from today? If you can't, if you have a busy day planned, then before we send you off with our love and blessings, let's do our closing affirmation. All right. One of the first things Reverend Melinda said is right now, with everything going on, we all need trust. We need to relax. We also need love. So wrap your arms right around yourself. Give yourself a big squeeze and join me in saying, I am love.
I am love.
Thank you so much. I love that. Love to hear from you. All right. Send this message out to somebody who needs it. It could be somebody who's right beside you. It could be a furry
You are
companion.
love. You are
There
love.
we go.
You are
You
love.
are
You are
love.
love.
Wow, that's
Oh.
amazing. It really does come washing through. Love it. And now let's do our love sprinkles. Let's just send this out to the world. You ready? It's all love.
It's all love.
All love.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, please stay. I have to sign off, but hang out with Reverend Melinda, Reverend Charlene, chat if you can, and
Bye.
remember that you are blessed and loved.
Bye.
Here.